Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are back with me again, Dheva. Today we'll be continuing our reading on Everything is Effed Up by Mark Manson, continuing last topic, which is the Newton's law of motion. Continuing with the second law of Newton's law of motion. So, Newton's second law of emotion. Our self-worth equal to the sum of our emotions over time. So let's return to the punching example from the last week video, the first law of emotion example. Except this time, let's pretend I exist within a magical force field that prevents any consequences from ever befalling me. You can punch me back, you can't say anything to me, you can't even say anything to anyone else about me. I am impervious, an all-seeing, all-powerful with evil ass face. Newton's first law of motion states that when someone or something causes us pain or a moral gap, open up and our feeling brain summons up an icky emotion to motivate us to equalize that. But what if that equalization never comes up? What if someone or something make us feel awful, yet we are incapable of retaliating or reconciling? What if we feel powerless to do anything to equalize or make things right? What if my force field just too powerful for you to break? Well, when moral gaps persist for a long period of time, they normalize. They become our default expectation. They lodge themselves into our value of hierarchy. If someone hit us and we'll never be able to hit them back, eventually our feeling brain will come to starting conclusion. We deserve to be hit. After all, we didn't deserve it. We would have been able to equalize, right? The fact that we could not equalize means that there must be something inherently inferior about us, and or something inherently superior about the person who hit us. This too is part of our hope responses. Because if equalization seems impossible, our feeling brain comes up with the next best thing, giving in, accepting defeat, judging itself to be inferior and how low value. When someone harms us, our immediate reaction to he is crap and I am righteous. But if we're not able to equalize and act on righteousness, our feeling brain will believe that only alternative explanation is I am crap, he is righteous. This surrender persisting moral gaps is a fundamental part of our feeling brain's nature. And it's Newton's second law of motion, which is how we come to value everything in life relative to ourselves in the sum of our emotion over time. This surrender to an acceptance is of ourselves as inherently inferior, as often it referred to as symptom of low self-worth. Call it whatever you want, the result is the same. Life kicks you a little bit, and then you feel powerless to stop it. Therefore, your feeling brain concludes that you must deserve it. Of course, the reverse moral gap must be true as well. If we are given a bunch of stuff without earning it, participation trophies and great inflation and gold medal for coming in ninth place, we falsely come to believe ourselves inherently superior to what we actually are. We therefore develop a deluded version of the high self-worth, or as more commonly known, being an asshole. Self-worth is contextual, and if you are being bullied from your geeky glasses and funny nose as a child, your feeling brain will know that you're a dweeb, even if you grow up to be a flaming sex pot of hotness. Ooh. People who are raised in the strict religion environments and are punished harshly for their sexual impulse often grow up with their feeling brain knowing that sex is wrong, even though their thinking brain has long worked out that sex is natural and totally awesome. High and low self-worth appear in different surveys, but they are two sides of the same counterfeit coin. Because whether you feel as tough as as tough, you're better than the rest of the world, or worse than the rest of the world. That's the same thing is true. You're imagining yourself as something special, something separate you from this world. A person who believes he deserves special treatment because of how great he is, or he isn't so different from someone who believes that she deserves special treatment because of how crappy she is. Both are narcissistic. Both think they're special. Both think the whole world should make an exception and cater to their values and feelings over others. Narcissists will oscillate between feelings of superiority and inferiority. Either everyone loves them or everyone has hate them. Everything is amazing or everything is freaked out. And an event was either the best moment of their life or traumatizing for scarred them to death. With narcissists, there's no in between because recognize the nuance indescribable reality before him would require to relinquish his privileged view that he is somehow special. Mostly, narcissists are unbearable to be around. They make everything about them and demand people around them to do the same. You'll see this high-low self-worth switcheroo everywhere if you keep an eye on it. Mass murderer, dictator, whiny kids, your obnoxious aunt who ruined Christmas every year. Hitler preaches the word treated Germans so poorly after World War One because it was afraid of German superiority. And in California, more recently, one disturbed gunman justified trying to shoot up a sorority house with the fact that while woman hooked up with inferior man, he was forced to be remain virgin. God damn it. You can even find yourself within yourself. If you're being honest, the more insecure you are about something, the more you'll fly back and forth between delusional feeling of superiority, I'm the best, and delusional being of inferiority, I'm a garbage. Well, self-worth is an illusion. There is a psychological construct that our feeling brain spit out in order to predict what will help it and what will hurt it. Ultimately, we must feel something and about ourselves in order to feel something about the world. And without those feelings, it's impossible for us to find hope. We all possess some degree of narcissism. It's inevitable. As everything we ever know or experience has happened to us or been learned by us. The nature of our consequences dictates that everything happened through us. It's only natural. Then our immediate assumption is that we are at the center of everything because we are the center of everything. We experience things. We all overestimate our skill and intention and underestimate the skill and intention of others. Most people believe that they are above average intelligence and have above average ability at most things, especially when they are not and do not. We all tend to believe that we're more honest and ethical than we actually are, which we will each given the chances delude ourselves into believing that what's good for us is also good for everyone else. But we screwed up, and we tend to assume that it was some happy accident. But when someone else screw up, we immediately rush to judge that person's character. Persistent law of levelness system is natural, but it's also a key at the root of many of our socio-political problems. This is not a right wing or left wing problem. This is not an older or younger generation problem. This is not an Eastern or Western problem. This is all of human problems. Every institu- ins- into every intuition and every institution will decay and corrupt itself. Each person given more power and fewer restraint will predictably bend that power to suit himself. Every individual will blind herself to her own flaws while seeking out the glaring flaws of others. Welcome to Art. Enjoy your stay. There's a bar over there. Please buy me some tequila. Our feeling brain work reality in such a way so that we believe that our problems and pain are somehow special and unique to the world, despite all evidence to the contrary. Human beings require this level of built-in narcissism because narcissism is our last line of defense against the uncomfortable truth. Because let's be real, most people suck and life is exceedingly difficult and unpredictable. Most of us are winging it as we go, if not completely lost, and if we didn't have some false belief in ourselves about superiority or inferiority, a deluded belief that we were extraordinary at something, would line up to swan dive off nearest bridge without a little bit of narcissistic delusion. Without a perpetual life we tell ourselves about our specialness, we'd likely give hope. But our inherent narcissism comes at a cost. Whether you believe you're the best in the world or the worst in the world, one thing is also true: you aren't separate from this world, and it is this separateness that ultimately perpetuates unnecessary suffering. That is for Newton law number two of emotion. Wow, pretty heavy topic about this one. About how to make us realize that we're different from the rest of the world. Why? Also explaining how we feel like we're can be the best in the world, can be the worst of the world, just depending how we see it and how we try to pursue it too. Well, that's all for this week. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Peace.